The coffee hit my coat like a slap, hot and sudden, blooming brown across cream wool as laughter cracked behind the desk. My name is Evelyn Carter. I'm 34. When someone humiliates you in public and hides behind power, how long are you supposed to stay silent? The trainee's smile stayed fixed, practiced, the kind you learn from mirrors and long hours watching other people feel small. Guests slowed. A suitcase tipped onto its side. Somewhere, a bell chimed for service that wasn't coming. Oh, careful, she said, not careful at all. Her voice carried. You don't belong in places like this. I felt every eye move over me. The coat. The shoes. The pause where dignity decides whether to leave or stay. She leaned closer, lowering her voice just enough to make it intimate. Relax, she added louder again, enjoying the arc of attention. My husband owns the hotel. A ripple went through the lobby, soft, curious. Someone whispered. Someone else pretended not to stare. I caught my reflection in the polished brass of the desk. A woman damp at the edges, perfectly still in the center. The keycard tray between us gleamed, empty, waiting. It looked patient. Like it knew something I didn't. I realized then that silence can be heavier than shouting, and far more dangerous when you finally set it down. I didn't wipe the coat. I let the coffee cool against my skin, let the smell settle. Burnt, bitter, impossible to ignore. Manager, I said quietly. The word slipped out like a test. The trainee's fingers tightened on the counter. Just for a second. Enough. He's busy, she replied, already turning away, already dismissing me. A couple behind me shifted. Someone sighed. The lobby breathed around us. Marble floors, low music, the hush of money pretending not to watch. I placed my hand on the desk. The surface was cold, grounding. My phone rested beneath my palm, dark screen waiting. I didn't unlock it yet. Please, I said. Not pleading. Precise. She laughed again, softer this time, meant only for herself. Look at you, she murmured. Making a scene. A man near the elevators cleared his throat. A woman adjusted her scarf and stared very hard at the chandelier. Silence pooled, thick and awkward. This was the part where people decide what kind of witnesses they are. The trainee finally pressed a button under the desk. Hard. Too hard. The bell rang sharp, almost angry. As we waited, she smoothed her hair, checked her reflection in the monitor, leaned closer. You should dry clean that, she whispered. If you can afford it. I watched the empty keycard tray again. Still waiting. Still patient. So was I. Footsteps came from the corridor behind the desk. Measured, unhurried. Authority has a sound when it's used to being obeyed. The manager appeared beside her, mid-40s, suit pressed within an inch of its life. He took in the scene fast. The coat, the tray, the audience pretending not to be one. What seems to be the problem? He asked, already looking at me like I was the inconvenience. The trainee answered for me. She spilled coffee on herself and started causing trouble, she said smoothly. Then with a small smile meant to land, it's fine. My husband owns the hotel. The manager's eyebrows lifted, just enough. He nodded as if that explained everything. As if it settled it. I see, he said. Ma'am, perhaps you'd like to step aside so we can assist other guests. Other guests. I glanced behind me. No one moved. They were waiting now. For something. I slid my phone onto the counter, screen still dark. Before I move, I said, I'd like to check in. The manager exhaled through his nose. Do you have a reservation? Yes. The trainee snorted. Of course she does. I met my reflection again in the brass. Coffee-stained, eyes clear. The keycard tray sat between us, gleaming like a dare. I booked the top-floor suite, I said softly. Under the owner's account. The silence that followed wasn't empty. I leaned in. The manager's smile twitched, recalibrating. He leaned closer to the screen, fingers moving faster now. The trainee's confidence didn't fade, but it stiffened like fabric pulled too tight. That suite is reserved, he said slowly. Yes, I replied. By me. Her laugh came out wrong. You're lying. I finally unlocked my phone. The light felt bright in the dim lobby, a small rectangle of certainty. I didn't turn it toward them yet. Power doesn't rush. A couple drifted nearer, pretending to admire a painting. Someone's rolling suitcase stopped clicking. The room had chosen a side, not mine exactly but not hers anymore. The manager cleared his throat. May I see your ID, ma'am? I slid it across. He checked the name. Checked it again. His jaw tightened almost imperceptibly. The trainee leaned in, whispering sharply, "She's bluffing." I watched her reflection in the glass behind the desk. For the first time she avoided her own eyes. "My husband," she started. The manager raised a hand. Not at her. At me. "One moment, please." He stepped away to make a call. His voice dropped low, respectful now. The word "sir" floated back, unmistakable. The keycard tray was no longer empty. It held 2 cards, freshly printed, waiting to be claimed. I didn't reach for them. Not yet. The manager's call ended with a quiet, careful, "Understood." He didn't look at the trainee when he turned back. That omission said more than anything else could have. "Miss Carter," he said, voice newly polished, "I apologize for the inconvenience." Inconvenience. The word landed badly. A few guests shifted. Someone coughed. The lobby's music seemed louder now, every note exposed. The trainee's smile faltered. "Why are you apologizing to her?" she asked too quickly. "You know who I am." The manager ignored her. He slid the keycards closer to me, hands steady. "Your suite is ready. Of course, your coat will be cleaned at our expense." I picked up the cards. The plastic was warm, still humming from the printer. I didn't put them away. "I'd like an incident report," I said. "Come." Almost gentle. The trainee laughed again, but it cracked in the middle. "For what?" "For the witnesses," I replied, glancing around. Eyes dropped. One didn't. A woman near the elevators met my gaze and gave the smallest nod. The manager hesitated, then nodded once. "Of course." The trainee's voice sharpened. "You can't do this." "My husband." A phone rang. Not mine. Hers. He froze, staring at the screen. The name flashing there drained the color from her face. The lobby fell completely silent. She didn't answer the call. The ringing stopped, then started again. Louder in the quiet, a small electronic panic. The manager watched the screen light her face. He knew that name. So did I. I'd said it earlier, tucked inside a sentence, easy to miss unless you were listening for truth. "Step into the office," he said to her, low and firm. "I didn't do anything," she snapped, but her voice had lost its shine. It echoed wrong in the marble space. Sound betrays people before words do. He glanced at me, searching for something. Anger, mercy, permission. I gave her none. I was listening instead. To the air. To the way the lobby held its breath. The keycard tray caught the overhead light and threw it back at us. 2 cards. 2 names embossed. One real. One imagined. "I want to explain," she said, softer now, to me. A dialogue decoy offered too late. It was just a joke. Behind the desk, the manager opened a drawer and took out a clipboard. Paper whispered. Pens clicked. Documentation has a sound. So does consequence. Her phone rang a 3rd time. This time she answered. "Hello," she said, and the word shook. I finally put the keycards into my pocket and felt the weight settle. "I didn't mean," she said into the phone, then stopped. "Listen." Her shoulders folded inward, just slightly, like fabric losing its shape. The manager stepped back, giving the call space. Giving her space to unravel without an audience's help. Guests had begun to drift again, disappointed the spectacle was turning quiet. Justice rarely performs on cue. "I told you," she whispered. "I told you I had it handled." Handled. I focused on the feel of the carpet beneath my shoes, thick and forgiving. Touch grounds you when the room tries to tilt. She ended the call without saying goodbye. Her hand shook as she lowered the phone. The manager cleared his throat. "We'll need you to remove your name badge," he said. Not unkind. Final. Her fingers fumbled at the clip. The plastic fell onto the desk with a small, humiliating sound. No one laughed this time. She looked at me once more. "You didn't have to do this," she said. I met her eyes. "I didn't," I replied. "You did." The manager gestured toward the office door. Paperwork waited. So did outcomes. I turned toward the elevators. As the door slid open, I caught my reflection in the mirrored steel, coat stained, spine straight, face calm. Clarity does that. Steadies you. The elevator doors closed with a soft, forgiving hush. Silence followed me upward, smooth and uninterrupted. Inside the mirrored walls, I studied the woman looking back. Coffee-stained coat. Tired eyes. Something lighter behind them. The mirror didn't flatter. It told the truth, and for once the truth felt steady. When I stepped into the suite, the air smelled faintly of citrus and linen. Evening light slid across the floor, touching everything gently as if the room already knew how this would end. I placed my coat over the back of a chair. The chair creaked, almost expectant, like it had been waiting all along. My phone vibrated. One message. From the owner. I'm so sorry. She won't be representing us or herself again. Thank you for handling this with dignity. I didn't reply right away. Revenge, when it's loud, echoes too long. This was quieter. Enough. Later, from the window, I watched the lobby far below return to its rhythm. New guests. New smiles. The world moving forward without needing my anger to fuel it. I poured myself a glass of water. Clear. Honest. Some people confuse borrowed power for ownership. Others mistake silence for weakness. I finished the water, turned off the light, and let the room rest.